This is what we're making today, braised meat. This is beef brisket. We're gonna cut it into cubes. Alright guys, so this recipe is from the Moonlight Merriment event, and I believe this is based on the Chinese braised beef that's cooked in a clay pot. After cutting the brisket into cubes, we're gonna throw it into cold water and then bring it to a boil. During this process, what we're trying to achieve is to get rid of the bitterness and the scum on the surface of the meat. After 10 minutes, when the water starts to boil, all the scum should have lifted to the top. At this point, we're gonna strain the meat and wash it and set it aside. Before we start braising the meat, we're gonna cut the bottom of some green onions and slice ginger. After cutting our aromatics, in a pot with some oil, we're gonna throw it in, along with our 5 spice. These spices are cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, star anise, and an orange peel. We're gonna cook it off for a couple of minutes to release its oils. Once you start smelling a strong aroma coming from the spice, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, 2 tablespoons of sesame paste, 2 tablespoons of fermented bean paste, 2 tablespoons of choho paste, and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Once everything is added in, we're going to give it a good stir until everything is thoroughly combined. Next, we're going to throw in our beef. We're going to give this a good stir until the beef is covered in our sauce and aromatics. Once we accomplish that, we're going to add in about 2 liters of chicken stock. We're going to give this a stir and then bring it to a simmer. At this point, you should be tasting your stock before you put it into the oven. It should taste quite salty because of all the sauces we throw in there, so we're going to balance it out with 3 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to give it a good stir and taste it one more time to ensure that it's the flavor that we want. And once you've added in your final seasonings, we're going to put a lid on it and then throw it into the oven for 3 hours at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we wait. While we wait, we're going to peel some carrots and potatoes. Then, we're going to slice up the carrots into little medallions and the potatoes into cubes. Once cut up, we're going to throw it into salted water and simmer it until it's about 75% done. The reason why I'm doing it like this and not cooking it with the beef is because I don't want mushy carrots and potatoes. Once it's done cooking, we're going to strain it and set it aside. Next, we're going to cut up our garnishes. We're going to cut this red onions into little cubes. And slice up the rest of the green onions that we had left over. After 3 hours, this is our braised beef. Our beef should be nice and tender because we cooked it at such a low temperature for a long time. We're now going to take all the beef and then set it aside temporarily. Then, we're going to take the sauce and strain it. We're going to get rid of all the impurities and make a nice clean sauce. We're going to throw the sauce back into a stove and throw in our cornstarch slurry. The amount of slurry you put in will determine the thickness of the sauce. To activate the slurry, we're going to bring it to a boil. Once we've achieved the thickness that we want, let's get ready to plate. Only if you guys can smell this. My mouth is salivating. If I was to serve this at a restaurant, this is the way I would do it. I would have all the ingredients separate and bring it all together into a clay pot. If you simply have it all together the whole day, the carrots, potatoes, and peas will all be mushy. I just want you guys to see the consistency of the sauce. It's like a nice thin gravy. And of course guys, we have to eat this with rice. A lot of it. And once our bowl is set up, let's go in for a taste. Take a look at that. After taking the first bite, it almost melts in your mouth. It's tender, moist, and aromatic. And of course, we gotta follow it up with some rice. Take a look at how tender this is. I could literally break it with my chopstick. And that's the end of another delicious dish from Genshin Impact. If you guys like what you see, hit the like button. And if you guys have any suggestions on what I should cook next, please post in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe.